Welcome to Victor Narrates Reddit. Like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss the next story. Tell us where you're watching from in the comments. Now, let's begin. She humiliated me in front of her friends, saying I was worthless. I paid my share, left, and that night she came back crying, but she didn't expect another woman to open the door. My ex-girlfriend, Camila, and I were together for about 8 months. I'm 25, she's 24. At first, everything was going well, but over time she started to become more and more demanding about money and critical of my lifestyle. I work as a plumber and own my own company. I actually make pretty good money. However, Camila always had a strange attitude whenever someone asked what I did for a living. She's a manager at a chic downtown boutique, so she spends her day surrounded by expensive clothes and demanding clients. We have been living together for about 4 months in my house, a property that is completely mine with no mortgage. But lately, Camila wouldn't stop hinting that we should move to a more exclusive neighborhood or a more modern home. All my coworkers live in those new downtown apartments. They're so much better than this place, she told me one night. Honey, this house is paid off. Why would we move somewhere we'd have to pay rent? I replied, because it's not just about money, it's about lifestyle, she said, as if that explained everything. The situation got even worse when she started hanging out with a group of coworkers. They were all dating men who had office jobs. And suddenly, Camila started to act ashamed of dating a plumber. Why can't you have a normal job like everyone else? She blurted out one day. I own my own company. I make more than most. I responded. It's not about the money. It's what other people think. I should have ended it right then and there, but I decided to give her time, thinking she would get over it. Last Friday, she sent me a text. She wanted to go to a fancy restaurant downtown for dinner, the kind where a single dish costs over 40 euros. I said yes, although it wasn't exactly my style. Great, I invited Claudia and Natalia from work and their boyfriends too. You're finally going to meet them. That was already a red flag, but I agreed. On Saturday night, we all met at the restaurant. Claudia and Natalia arrived with their partners, who were exactly what I imagined. Iron shirts, talking about their office jobs and investment portfolios. This is my boyfriend, Esteban, Claudia said. He works in digital marketing. And this is Bruno, Natalia added. He's in corporate finance. Then it was my turn. This is Raul, Camila said without enthusiasm. He has a maintenance company. A maintenance company. Not a word about plumbing, or that it was his own business. A maintenance company. The entire dinner was uncomfortable. Esteban and Bruno talked about their jobs and asked me vague questions about what I did. Every time the conversation got close to anything specific, Camila would change the subject. Raul handles the maintenance of commercial properties, she replied when Bruno asked directly. Technically, it wasn't a lie, but she said it in a way that made it sound like I was a janitor, not the owner. Halfway through dinner, Esteban started talking about a vacation he was planning with Claudia. We're thinking of going to Bermuda for a few days, an all-inclusive resort. That sounds amazing, Camila said immediately. Raul and I never do things like that. I looked at her, confused. What about the trip to Costa Rica? You said you wanted to wait until summer. That's different. It's not a real getaway. And what makes a vacation a real one? You know, a romantic place with good services and elegant resorts. Costa Rica has beautiful resorts. It's not the same, Raul. Claudia jumped into the conversation. Esteban surprised me with this trip for our 6-month anniversary. It's nice to have someone who knows how to treat you, right? The sentence hung in the air, as if everyone was waiting for my reaction. It must be nice, Camila added, looking directly at me. Natalia joined the attack. Bruno and I were in Napa last month. The wine region is so romantic, much better than camping or whatever. See? That's what I'm talking about, Camila said. There are people who actually know how to plan real dates. Camila, we've had very good dates. Like what? That weekend at the lake house, the concert downtown, dinner at Romano's last month. They're not the same. And how are they different? They're not impressive. They're normal. Esteban and Bruno were watching us as if they were watching a movie. Claudia and Natalia exchanged discreet glances. Camila, maybe we should talk about this at home. I don't want to talk about it now. I'm tired of pretending everything is fine. Pretending about our relationship, Raul, our future. What's wrong with our future? Future? What future? You're content with just being in front of a little business forever. It's not a little business. It's a successful company. Successful compared to what? To most. I do well. Define well. I was starting to lose my patience. I make enough, Camila. You know that. Enough for what? Enough to have this house and support both of us. That's not what I asked. The table fell silent. Everyone was staring at us. What do you want me to say? I want you to acknowledge your limitations. What limitations? Your career limitations, Roll. Your ambition limitations. I don't have limitations. I have a solid company. Camila looked at her friends, then back at me. Roll. You can't even satisfy me, much less support me. It was like a slap in the face. Claudia and Natalia let out a small gasp. Esteban and Bruno looked uncomfortable, though clearly entertained. What the hell, Camila? It's the truth, Roll. You have no ambition, no class. You settle for the basics. The basics. Yes, the basics. Look at Esteban and Bruno. They have real careers. They know what women want. And what is it that women want? Success, growth, someone who is going somewhere in life. I stood there, processing every word. My girlfriend, the one who had been living in my house for months, had just said all that in front of strangers as if it were nothing. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Camila was telling me, in front of people I had just met, that I wasn't capable of providing what she needed. And that's when I laughed. What are you laughing at? She asked in that tone I already knew. You seriously think Esteban and Bruno are more successful than me? They have real careers, Roll. Esteban works in digital marketing, right? Yes. Why do you ask? Do you mind telling us how much you make a year? Roll. That's enough, Camila warned, her eyes wide. I make around $70,000, Esteban answered. That's good, I said, and looked at Bruno. And you? About 85,000, he replied confidently. Perfect. Camila, since you think I can't give you what you need, do you want to know how much I made last year? Roll, please. 160,000. At that moment, the entire table fell silent. That can't be true, Natalia said, incredulous. Well, it is. The plumbing business is doing better than ever. I have contracts with businesses, emergencies, new construction projects. I'm booked 6 months in advance. Claudia looked at me, surprised. You make double what Esteban makes, she murmured. Yes, but it seems that doesn't matter. It's not sophisticated enough, according to some. Camila turned red. Money isn't everything, she whispered. 2 minutes ago, you said I couldn't provide for you. It seems money was important to you, until it no longer suited your argument. It's not the money, it's the image. The image? Yes. What am I supposed to say when they ask what my boyfriend does? You tell them your boyfriend owns a successful plumbing company and makes 6 figures a year. It's not the same. You're right. It's better, because this is real success, not a fancy title in an office. I waved the waiter over. Can you bring me the check, please? Roll. What are you doing? I'm going to pay my share and leave. You can't just leave. Watch me. The waiter brought the bill. $150 for 6 people. I did a quick calculation. I had ordered salmon and 2 drinks, so it would be about $35 with the tip. You always pay when we go out, Camila muttered. And you just said I can't support you. I figured it was time to stop trying. I left $40 on the table and stood up. Thanks for dinner. Good luck paying for the rest. Roll, sit down. Don't make a scene. I'm not making a scene. I'm leaving. Split the rest among your sophisticated friends. I walked out of the restaurant feeling as if a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. When I got home, I sat on the sofa, replaying everything that had happened. Camila had been living in my house for 4 months, eating my food, sleeping in the bed I bought, and in front of everyone, she said I wasn't enough. Around 11 p.m., my phone started buzzing. Roll. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. Claudia had to lend me money to pay my part. Can you Venmo me? Please answer me. I'm calling an Uber to come back. We need to talk. I didn't reply. She got home around midnight and tried to talk, but I was already in my room with the door locked. The next morning, she was gone. She left a note. I'm going to stay at Claudia's for a few days until you're not angry anymore. That same afternoon, I went to the hardware store for a few things and ran into Emma, a girl I went to high school with. We had been good friends but lost touch after graduation. Roll. I can't believe it. How are you? Emma, great to see you. I'm good. And you? I just moved back. Got a job as a nurse at the hospital. We talked for almost an hour in the parking lot, catching up. Emma was funny, down to earth, the complete opposite of Camila. We should grab coffee sometime, she suggested. I'd love that. We exchanged numbers and made plans for Tuesday. On Monday, while I was at work, Camila came by the house and took more of her things. She left another note saying she needed time to think. On Tuesday, I went out with Emma. We talked for 3 hours about everything. Work, family, goals, dreams. She was impressed that I had my own company. That's incredible, Roll. It takes courage to start something like that. Thanks. It's been going well. And you're helping people. When my bathroom flooded last year, I would have paid anything to get it fixed quickly. A completely different attitude from Camila's. On Wednesday, Emma came over for dinner. I made burgers on the grill, and we watched a movie. She loved my house. Roll. This house is beautiful. You own it. Yeah, I bought it 3 years ago. Wow. Most people our age are still renting. I started young. That was the secret. On Thursday, Camila texted me, asking to talk. I didn't answer. On Friday, she called my mom. They had met a few times when we were dating, and she still had her number. My mom called me, laughing. Roll. Some girl called me crying, saying she'd made a mistake and needed you back. And what did you say? I told her if she was foolish enough to be ashamed of a man who owns his own house and business, she deserved the consequences. Did you really say that? Of course I did. And I also reminded her that I taught you not to beg for someone who doesn't know how to value you. On Saturday night, Emma and I went to a nice restaurant for dinner. For the first time in a long time, a date felt genuinely good. She looked amazing, and the conversation flowed with complete ease. No uncomfortable comments about money or comparisons to other people. Everything was simple and authentic. Can I ask you something, Roll? She said as we finished dinner. Sure, I replied. You mentioned you recently got out of a relationship. What happened? She was ashamed of my job. She thought being with a plumber was beneath her. Really? That makes no sense. You work hard. You have your own business. What more could someone ask for? Apparently, she preferred someone in a suit in an office. Well, that was her loss, she replied, smiling. When I dropped her off at her house that night, she gave me a goodnight kiss. It was the first time in months I had felt genuinely excited about someone. A week after that disastrous dinner with her friends, I was in the garage making some adjustments to a tool when the doorbell rang. I thought it was Emma, since we had planned to watch a movie at my place. But when I opened the door, I was met with a completely different scene. There was Camila, crying, with 2 suitcases at her feet. Roll. Thank goodness you're here, she said through sobs. I've been thinking all week. I know I made a mistake, but I can fix it. What are you doing here, Camila? I came to apologize and to come home. I was wrong. I realize I was completely out of line. You can't just come back as if nothing happened. Just listen to me. I talked to Claudia and Natalia, and they both told me I was wrong. So you needed your friends to tell you that you messed up. That's not the point. Of course it is, Raul. I know I screwed up, but we can still save this. There's nothing to save. Of course there is. I love you. And you love me now because your friends found out I make more than their boyfriends. That's not true. Before I could say anything else, another car pulled into my driveway. It was Emma, getting out of the car with bags of food and a bottle of wine. Camila turned to see her. And who is she? Emma. Emma who? My girlfriend. Camila froze. Your girlfriend? Yes. We've been seeing each other. Since when? About a week. Emma reached the door, confused to see Camila crying there. Hey, honey, she said, giving me a quick kiss. I brought Thai food. Is everything okay? Everything's fine. Camila was just leaving. No, I wasn't. Roll. We live together. You packed your bags and left, remember? You said you needed time, but I didn't say I was leaving for good. Packing up and leaving is leaving. Period. Emma intervened politely. Imna. I don't think we've met. I'm Camila, Roll's girlfriend. Ex-girlfriend corrected calmly. Roll. Tell her we're working things out. We're not working anything out, Camila. I'm not leaving until we talk properly. There's nothing to talk about. You made it clear what you think of me. Emma looked at me, concerned. Do you want me to come back later? No, you stay. The one who needs to leave is Camila. This can't be happening, she sputtered, on the verge of tears. You've already replaced me. It's not about replacing anyone. It's about moving on with someone who values what I do. I do value you. Now that you know how much I make, right? Because until you knew, you thought I was a joke. That's not true. Yes, it is. You had no problem looking down on me until you understood I made more than your friend's boyfriends. Emma's eyes widened in surprise. You really looked down on his job? Among other things, I replied. Roll. I was wrong. I admit it. It wasn't a mistake, Camila. You were honest. You showed me who you really are. She just stood there, speechless, with tears streaming down her face and her suitcases by her side. After a moment, she loaded everything back into her car and left. Emma and I went inside. She asked me what exactly had happened, so I told her the whole story from the beginning. Her reaction was immediate. That sounds terrible. How can someone say something like that about the person they're supposed to love? Someone more concerned with appearances than with the truth. Well, I think what you do is admirable. You've built all this yourself from scratch. It's been 6 weeks since then. Emma and I are officially a couple. It's amazing how well we get along. She's always proud to tell people I have my own business and never makes me feel like I have to apologize for what I've achieved. Camila tried calling me a few times, but I ended up blocking her. Emma once mentioned that Natalia had reached out just to say that most people at their work thought Camila had crossed a line at that dinner. Last week, I ran into Esteban at a gas station. He looked uncomfortable, but he approached me. Roll. Hey, about that dinner. Don't worry about it, I said. No, seriously, I feel bad. Camila was really harsh, and honestly, I was impressed by what you said about your job and what you make. Thanks. In case you're interested, she's been doing pretty badly since you broke up. She doesn't stop asking about you. That's a shame. She moved back in with her parents. Apparently, she couldn't afford a place on her own without your help. So, from living in a paid-off house she owned, she went back to her childhood bedroom. All of this made it clear to me that some people value how something looks on the outside more than what it truly represents. Camila wanted a boyfriend who looked successful on a business card, even if he couldn't offer half of what I could. She became so obsessed with what her co-workers thought that she lost something valuable for a superficial illusion. And now she's with her parents while I'm with someone who appreciates what I've built. Sometimes, the best revenge is to let life take care of the consequences of other people's decisions.